Hello, good evening. Time is 10:20. Today's Sunday, 20th of March, first of April, first day of spring in Canada. My name is Pastor Murray. I'm the elder of Baha'u'llah, one of those 24 elders that's in the Bible. I'm not a pretender. This is the truth. Mr. President, you and Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, creating a special sense in me. Both of you, I feel you're like my children, you're like my sons. That's how I feel. I think there's a spiritual affinity. You two share a very common things that most politicians, they lack. And you're brutally sincere. Trudeau's a very sincere man. You're a very sincere man. He's brave, so is you. But you're a gem among the politicians. I think you're creating a new standard. A politician has to be honest and sincere and brave. Everything else is okay. There are a lot of others that they can give you proper consultation and knowledge if necessary. I have already psychoanalyzed this Putin. I call him the El Chapo of Russia. As a divine psychologist, I diagnose him with a man who's suffering from achievement deficit disorder. He hasn't achieved enough in their life, and this has created a disorder in him. He's looking to achieve things. He has deficit on that. And because of the things that he has done in his past, which I tell you includes raping a lot of girls, even boys. This man is a gangster, he's not a leader, he's not a politician. The only way that he goes forward is by making people to fear him. That's what the bullies are. That's the only weapon he has. Otherwise, he's the weakest person on the planet. Why? Because he has done so many bad things that he can't sleep properly. He has nightmare all the time. And I see through him. I exactly know. He's officially a sick man. And the Russian doctors, they have given him all kind of psych medicine, reducing his brain to a floppy disk. He just knows as much as a floppy disk in his brain. And in his weird way, he's trying to feel sorry for what he has done, so he wants to achieve something for Russia and even for Ukrainian in his sick mind. So to take over Ukraine, to make it to be a part of Russia at the time of Tsar. So basically, he is truly a good replica of Ivan the Terror. You know, I think if they take his brain, his body, they'll find a lot of mercury in it probably. God knows what he's taking that he can't think anymore. He's acting out of instinct. But he's a gangster. He's not a politician. He's not a person of any kind of belief. Because he loves too many things in the world and he fears to lose them. This is why that fear is causing that to attack Ukraine, to see many people as enemy. Even surrounding people that he has, he's afraid of all of them. So enough about him. I'm going to give you two things that I think is right. In my opinion, of course. If I was young enough that I could come to Ukraine and have a chance to be with you and give you some ideas, these are the two things I would tell you. I'm sure probably you know it, but I have not seen the evidence of that. Therefore, I'm going to say it. Number one, if I were you, I would never enter in war with Russia. The moment I saw they are piling up their armament on the border, I would have immediately go to the NATO and I would tell them that this man is not after Ukraine only. We are just on the way. We're in a station for his, achievement, conquering. He wants to come through Ukraine. Ukraine is a portal. Therefore, you have to say I would say to the NATO, this is your war. It is my war, but it is really your war. It's our war. Unless you give me a 100% assurance on what I want, what's needed, to immediately counterbalance the situation and bring all this armament right on the other side of the border, twice as much as he has, to prevent the war. Or if it happens, to win the war. But I would tell them, if I'm not getting that, I'm not going to enter in this war. Because I would not give the life of one little Ukrainian baby, or those babas, to die for the sake of this nonsensical war. Because this is not a war. This is a psycho after doing psychotic acts. So I would not get into the war unless I get assurance. I would resign completely the parliament, dissolve the parliament, and I order the army, just like France. They surrendered to Hitler. They saw that there's no point of arguing and discussing with this guy. It's point number one. Number two, my friend, I think NATO countries, with all their insight, they're the type of leaders that they're scared of their family, their money, and everything else, and they are bringing this issue of the war, this nuclear war with this guy. I think they're playing with Ukraine and they're playing with you. For what they have given to you right now, if they would have given it on the first day when the Russian they came in and they brought those things in Ukraine, this war would have not happened. They are using Ukraine and Ukrainian as a sacrificial lamb. They want you guys to die. Because this is the only way they can unravel Putin to the world, Putin to the Russians. So maybe their own people get rid of him. Because if this is really a man that who would use a nuclear bomb, nothing is going to stop him right now either. The only way that you could think he would use the nuclear bomb, that he knows he's losing. His life is at danger. Otherwise he would go back to Kremlin, and stay in his weird life. He loves Kremlin and all the things that he does too much, and he knows nuclear bomb means end of everything, and he's not willing to do that. So all of it was a bluff of a bully that underestimated. He thinks you're just a comedian, but he should have known. This is not a comedian that you can joke with. He didn't know this. Okay, he got it now. So, Europeans are procrastinating the inevitables. If this guy's going to use the bomb, he would use it anyways. But in between, they sacrificed a lot of life of Ukrainians and the city and the whole country. I don't believe they don't know this. I think they know it. Purposely, they're giving you a little bit at a time, not to win and not to lose. In a twilight. keep fighting with this guy because they want people to know him. But this is kind of Machiavellism. Who are these people to dare to say that a little baby in Ukraine has to die? Or that old man has to be wounded out of his apartment to come out? Why they didn't give this on the first day? Long before Russia come in. They're giving it now, they could have given it then. I think you have to know this. This is it. They are not friend of Ukraine. They're using Ukrainian life to fight for them. You're basically a mercenary. Ukrainians are mercenaries that they don't get paid. And they're providing them with arsenals. But you have to do the war. They don't want to come in. I told them before, why don't you give one of those airplane carrier right here in Adriatic, in Black Sea, in Mediterranean, anywhere, with the Patriot missiles, to sell it to Ukraine with all the planes. You don't get involved, but sell it to them. It's their property. So they can fight at least a battle that they know they can win. Why would you fight a battle that you cannot win? This is Ivan Turgenev. He says that in his book, Virgin Soil. He says if you want to turn around a property, a land, a virgin land, you have to use a proper plow. Not a weak one that scratches the surface. You have to do it right through. Anyways, if you agree with these 2 points and you think I'm sincere in what I say, I will tell you, which I think you're doing it anyways, but I'll tell you, 100% no negotiation with this guy. Zero. Just to stand and tell him, the day of negotiations on my part is over. You've destroyed this country and have killed our people. And you have made the whole world to be your enemy. You are on the losing end. We already lost. We have no negotiations. None. The more you stay in here, the more you put yourself into danger. Okay? The more you stay here, the more Russians will know about it and they will rise against you. If you want your life, your sick life, your secret life, you better leave. We have no way, single point to you for negotiation. We are not negotiating with you. We're here to advise you to get out. Okay? If I was on that chair to talk, I would have told him, you're a sick man. Tell your sick leader, you're mentally sick. Doctors, they know it. I'm divine psychologist. I will come and fix you. There is something inside you still hovering in the center, in the bottom of your things. You miscalculated. Very, very wrong. You think the whole thing is like gangsterdom, and you can't take Ukraine. You're too small to do that. How are you controlling 40 million people with 100,000 soldiers that they hate to engage in war? I would negotiate with him and I'd tell him like this. None of your soldiers, they actually want to fight Ukraine. You have no soldiers to do it. That's why you're borrowing from, you want to borrow from China, from Iran, from Middle East. This is opportunity for countries like Iran, countries like China, to side with the free world. China has to be ashamed of itself. That's the only country I approve in the world of a proper governing system for 1.2 billion. But why are they not taking on the side of the truth? European Union, NATO, all of they're the customers of Russia. If they go weak, they can't trade with them. Why China is waiting? This is the first time I say they're doing a stupid decision. not siding with the free world, which is their own clients. And I'm very, absolutely, completely disappointed in Israel. This is a country I consider it as my homeland, okay? I never was at home in my country, Iran, never. As a Baha'i, we're always attacked, just like Jews. Iranian Shiites, I have zero trust in them, doesn't matter who they are. It takes years for them to become secular people. But Israelis? Why didn't they interfere? There's more Jews in Ukraine after Israel, more than anywhere in the world. Israel should have immediately moved in with all their arsenal and say to Putin, do not bluff here. We're not West. Stay back. If you go further down, we'll bomb the heck out of you. And we have all the arsenal to do it. And we have no permission from anywhere, from the NATO or anybody else. Stay away. Because Russia will never bomb Israel. But they will, they might, but not nuclear bomb. If they do, that's the land of Jehovah, His Divine Majesty. Baha'u'llah, the glory of God, is in the Haifa. It's impossible to do anything with that land. Not by Russia. No one can. Want to bomb Israel? Then you know how many other countries are going to get affected? They will obliterate Russia if they do that. They're waiting for that. So Russia will never do that. I mean, Russia, again, Russia is a different story. Russians are actually, you better know it than me, they're the victim number one. The first victim, just like Germans were the victim of Adolf Hitler. Nobody talks about the German who was suffering on the first day of Hitler coming in their land. So Russians are suffering, economically not knowing, and those who know, they know. So there is no side here between Russian and Ukrainian. The side is between Russia and Ukrainian combined against the El Chapo, the man who's suffering from achievement deficit disorder, the floppy disk. So, sir, no negotiation, zero. But brighten his mind. Where are you ending? You want to go further? There is more to come. Get out. We advise you to get out and go get some medicine, okay? Do something for yourself. This is not going to solve your problem by attacking us. Well, thank you very much.